Legendary singer-songwriter Don McGlashan has recently moved back to New Zealand after a few years in the UK. And his band, the Mutton have just released their fourth studio album, Rain, Steam and Speed. We thought we'd catch up at Motat, the home of steam and speed, and ask him why he's back.
Personal reasons, really. I wanted to be closer to my family. I wanted to not be touring so much, and the band had got to the stage, or has got to the stage, where we can pretend we're from anywhere and still get the same numbers of people in Derby or Leicester or Manchester or wherever we're going to play. The last tour we did in the UK had like double the audiences of the previous tour, and we're playing in ever bigger houses. So I think it's worth a go. It's certainly something I needed, because the industry was starting to get in the way of my writing. The record company, like any kind of market sort of driven entity, record companies would have you tour until you died.
So is this a more relaxed Mutton Birds? Is this a more, this is now main priority, we're not going to trip around and work at this and do what the record company tells us? Are you guys just kind of stepping back a little bit? We
were never terribly good at doing what the record company told us to do anyway, and that's one of the reasons why they dropped us after a couple of years. We weren't that flexible, and even though when we released Envy of Angels, it sold like 3 times what the last record had sold. There's no one here tonight. The whole town's still at the show. She said she'd seen me come along.
Despite being dropped by Virgin UK, the MBs are working again with the good folks at Virgin Records New Zealand.
I mean, we've got more control, and we're taking some of their money, so it's fantastic.
So you can go, palm up. Don't want to do that. We're not going to do it, and you'll get the material.
Yeah, we don't want to talk to Francesca. We can say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
no.
Not her.
And look, here he is.
Not her again. Sort. No, we're not going to Motat, we'll say. He's
actually chained to this fence, but we're not going to show you that.
That's right. You said you were going to feed me.
Platform shapes in the sandstone, lines of faces keeping their secrets. They're thinking about the weekend, they're thinking about new clothes, they're thinking about touching, but everyone's watching. They're buttoned up against it, and all the king's horses and all the 5 senses. Dreams so fleeting, where the carpets are deep and the ends are all meeting. They're pulled along by love, they're pulled along by love, and they're pulled along by love, they're pulled along by bad dreams, maybe she's staying, but she thought about leaving. And maybe those two have been together for ages, or maybe they're strangers from different stations, and they're pulled along by love, they're pulled along by love, and they're pulled along by love, they're pulled along by love, and all day, and we're thinking about the weekend, we're thinking about new clothes, we're thinking about touching, but everyone's watching. We're buttoned up against it, we wrap ourselves around it like fire in a blanket, and dreams so fleeting, where the carpets are deep and the ends are all meeting. And we're pulled along by love, we're pulled along by love, and we're pulled along by love, we're pulled along by
I've actually brought along my little art book, and I'm going to show you, this is a painting here by Turner, and it's called Rain, Steam and Speed, and this is the painting that you've actually named the album after, isn't it?
That's right. It's a bit sort of pointy-headed to go and call your album after a work of art, but we didn't go as far as actually using it on the album cover. The album cover is something completely different.
Do you know much about Turner?
Oh, not very much. Not very much. I know that he was a bit of a loony, and that in his later years he stopped using paint on his canvases and started using stuff like strawberry jam and chocolate.
Right. So you could lick them.
I don't think that was the point. The point was he wanted to sort of use whatever was to hand and just sort of plaster it on the canvas. I don't think the whole scratch and sniff idea was very big in that time.
My mind's always on food, eh? We were talking before about how you left Virgin UK and you sort of felt like you walked out of an environment that you weren't entirely happy with or feel comfortable in. Did that change the way you wrote songs?
Certainly, there's so much belt tightening going on in Britain. You can really hear the sound of belts being tightened as you walk into record company offices, and so it's fantastic to be out of that kind of pressure. And as soon as we were out of that pressure, our song rate just went up, just shot up, and we were able to take more risks on this album, Rain, Steam and Speed. There were a couple of songs that were written more or less sort of in the tube on the way to the recording studio and finished in the recording studio, and they came out, and there's a sense of sort of spontaneity and risk.
Talk about risk. Now here's a hazard.
I've got a bit of a challenge for you, Don. It's a big one too, mate.
Tell me what I have to do.
The mirror maze.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to drop breadcrumbs or anything like that?
Nah.
hated it tonight.